Hello everyone and welcome to the video. I'm Professor Amanda and class has officially begun. I hope all of your guys' Prismatic Cups are going as well as mine, although in a sort of round of bad luck. This is the second time that a 6-1 has given me a second place instead of a platinum medal, but even still, I'm really happy with the results and I wanted to share the team with you and also just kind of the thought process going into each matchup against my opponents. We had some really close and really good games. So yeah, jumping into it, as everyone knows, each slot you can only pick a certain Pokemon from the whitelist that was given, and I chose to go with Lanturn, and my Lanturn has Spark on it, and then the typical Thunderbolt and Hydro Pump. I decided to go with Crustle instead of Talonflame, mostly just to combat how many Talonflames there are. That Pokemon is a nuisance, and I think it is my least favorite Pokemon of all. But that's also probably because I am horrible even with Hypno's Confusion, so a 5-turn fast move, I think I wouldn't even be able to handle it at all. But anyway, yeah, so I'm running a Crustle, and I also put a little spin on it, so I'm running a Fury Cutter Crustle, because that thing gets to its charge moves so fast, it's super spammy, and it can one-shot a Talonflame, it can one-shot pretty much any of the flyers, but in return it also is not the tankiest of Mons, so I have to be careful when using it. I chose Hypno for my third slot, like everyone, and for this cup I was running Hypno with Shadow Ball and Thunder Punch, mostly again to threaten the Talonflame, and also just in case there was like a water type besides Lanturn. I thought maybe it could do some decent damage with the Thunder Punch. However, I think if I had to do it over again, or if I was to put it in a different cup, I would maybe consider running Ice Punch on it instead. There's also some merit to running double elemental punches, like Thunder and Ice, or Fire and Thunder or something, but yeah, it really depends on how you want to use your Hypno, because then in the mirror it's really not that useful. Next up I have, okay, everyone, I'm saying that Talonflame is the worst Mon in this cup, but it can arguably be Whimsicott. But the main reason that I have the Whimsicott is because a lot of my team doesn't fare well against fighters, and having both Hypno and a Whimsicott on my team, I figured it's good coverage and kind of scares away the people who would be maybe planning on using a fighter. I do have a fighter myself in the 5th slot, that's Hitmonchan. However, the only reason I have Hitmonchan in this slot is because I was running, or wanting to run, a Litleo XL, but I didn't have enough candies for it yet to be powered up all the way. So the Hitmonchan is just kind of a placeholder, and we'll see in the battles itself, but I don't think I even used it once. But yeah, it's running the elemental punches of Ice Punch and Thunder Punch. And then I have Gliscor, which is just a good coverage Mon overall. Like, I was noticing when I was building the team that even this team itself is pretty weak to Gliscor. If Gliscor gets an energy advantage, or if shields are down, he can really wreck the opposing team. And so my Gliscor has it running Night Slash and also Earthquake, which can essentially one-shot the Lanturns. So yeah, let's get into the matches. My first opponent that I played in the cup was Ragul Kalemarthi, and they are running a team that's double grass. So this is when I was really bummed that my Litleo wasn't ready yet, because I think that Litleo would do great against this team, especially because also has really good plays against the Hypnos, with only the Confusion really doing damage to it. Alas, I don't have it, but I figured that Fury Cutter Crustle is going to be a bit of a surprise, so it can handle the Talonflame and it can go head to head with the Hypno and also the grasses. So I decided that it would probably be the safest bet to lead, and then I think I did Hypno because it's just such a strong Mon to begin with, and I think they maybe have frightened me out of using Lanturn because of the double grass, so I think I decided to go with Gliscor. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the matches. So they lead a Meganium, so it's a good thing that I have this Crustle at the beginning. I'm going ahead and charging up to a Rock Slide and then shooting off that X-Scissor, which will do super effective damage because it's a grass type. They smartly shielded up, but unfortunately for me, I'm going to have to shield this as well because Frenzy Plant will do a ton of hurt to the Crustle. So yep, I shielded up, and I know that I'm going to outpace it, so I'm going to continue to do this, and I'm just kind of committed at this point to yeah, making this go down. So they let it go through, and I catch a Frenzy Plant on the Gliscor, which is good, but Gliscor is, he's not a tanky boy. So it did about 50% health. They switch in their Hypno, but luckily I'm already at a Night Slash, so I'm just going to fire these off as quickly as possible, maybe hope for a boost. I don't get one, and but since they're farming up so much, I'm pretty sure that they don't have Ice Punch on their Hypno. So I'm able to get to another Night Slash. They have to shield or else it would get down, and I do get the boost, but down it goes. So yeah, I bring back in this Crustle because I know that it'll get to an X-Scissor before they will be able to fire off a move, and it is able to take out the Hypno. So I'm actually in the dark on what the Hypno's possible moveset is. It just kind of used it as a sponge this match. Ferrothorn is also a really good answer to this team because it can throw the grass type moves. Really good switch on the opponent here, going ahead and tanking the X-Scissor on the Meganium, which wouldn't have been able to get to a move anyway. But I am in an okay position here because I'm just going to go ahead and let this... Oh, no, I don't. Oh, okay. This kind of sucks for me. So I blocked up a Mirror Shot, which also made my attack fall. So this X-Scissor is going to do even less. But yeah, at this point I have to let the Crustle go down. But again, I'm okay because the Hypno is full HP, and I'm even at this point, even though neither move is that effective on the Ferrothorn, I will just be able to Confusion it down. So this Power Whip will do a decent chunk, but in the end, Hypno, too strong. Alright, so game number 2, I decide to lead Gliscor because Gliscor actually has a pretty positive matchup against most of the team. Really the only thing it doesn't fare super well against is that Talonflame. Yeah, Ferrothorn isn't the greatest for it, but I am charging up to an Earthquake and I'm going to fire it right away. I'm not playing around. I'm hoping that this Ferrothorn gets out of the way because it's the bane of this team. And luckily, they didn't shield it, and that was the game-changing moment because I was able to wing attack down, and now I have enough energy. I was thinking I could maybe get to an Earthquake, but I saw how fast those Incinerates were just burning through the Gliscor, so I got a Night Slash off, and unfortunately, I am unable to get to the second one. And now it's a debate because I know that Talonflame can one-shot a Crustle. So I'm going to bring in the Hypno to just kind of absorb this charge move energy. So I don't shield the first one because obviously a Brave Bird wouldn't take me out at that point. And I do choose to shield up the second one because now that the Flame Charge has boosted the attack of the Talonflame, I didn't want that Brave Bird to take me way down, but they just Flame Charged me again. So I was watching the Incinerates, I let 2 more go through, and then I fired off this Thunder Punch to take it down. And now we see what's in the back, a double shielded Hypno, pretty dangerous for most teams. I am baiting here with a Thunder Punch, hoping that he thinks it's a Shadow Ball to at least get one of these shields, but he doesn't. And now I think that he's going to do the same to me. But I decided, yeah, at this point, the Crustle will really do some work, so I will let the Hypno go down. Lucky for me, it's just a Fire Punch, so I'm going to fire this Thunder Punch off again. Again, it's not doing a lot of damage, but since my Hypno was so low, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to make it to a Shadow Ball, and even recognizing I probably wouldn't make it to another Thunder Punch, I switch out to my Crustle. I am going to shield this up because if it's a Shadow Ball, it will do hefty damage. Lucky again, it's just a Fire Punch, making me think that maybe this Hypno only has the Elemental Punches. So yeah, they have to block up this X-Scissor, but I know I'm in a good place because even if this is a Shadow Ball, I will make it to another X-Scissor to take it out. Yep, it's just a Fire Punch, so they're clearly just running Elemental Punches, and this X-Scissor will be enough to win the second game, and we will move on to our next opponent. So our next opponent is Monish6720, and they are running a pretty fun team, really similar to mine. Okay, not that similar. Whenever I see a Crustle, I'm like, oh yeah, you too? But yeah, this team is a little bit of a struggle for me, I think. So looking at it now, I maybe actually should have played the Hitmonchan, but I'm thinking that the Gliscor, again, will have a lot of play. Hypno is a little bit dangerous to use because of the Shiftry and the Drifblim, which can both beat it, and depending on the moveset of the Crustle, that can also go head to head. So looking at it, I'm probably thinking Gliscor, Whimsicott, and maybe that Crustle as well. Let's see how we decide to play this one out. I do remember these being some pretty good matches. And by good, I mean good for my opponent. So we lead a Crustle into a Drifblim. They immediately swap out into a Crustle of their own, and I'm just kind of screwed at this point because, as you can see, it's a Rock Throw Crustle, and nothing on my team handles that super well because my own Crustle doesn't play well against it, and this Crustle will be able to get a lot of energy on my Hypno. I'm kind of okay with it because I know that Drifblim can take the Hypno, so I'm just kind of using it again as a shield, essentially. So I Thunder Punch it, I am able to take the Crustle down, but then I assume that they'll bring that Drifblim back in just to get a ton of energy on me. So luckily I am running Thunder Punch, which will do a nice amount of damage to the Drifblim, but yeah, they're just going to go ahead and take it down, and now I'm kind of in trouble. So I throw this Rock Slide. Maybe they won't shield, maybe the Drifblim will go down, we'll see. They do shield it up, and I immediately switch out to catch the Icy Wind on the Gliscor. Unfortunate for me, as we all know, it's super effective, and my attack falls. I try to get off this Night Slash onto it, but it's not going to be enough damage, and in comes a pretty dangerous thing. I didn't see the swap. It was really good. They swapped on the charge move, and I got a little greedy there. I thought maybe I could get to another move, but unfortunately I couldn't. I think that could have changed things a bit because they would have maybe had to shield, or at least it would have gotten the Shiftry down lower, because as you can see, they threw off a Leaf Blade. I had to shield it, and this one will be enough to take me out. So Monish won that one with a shield left and two fairly healthy Pokemon, so I really have to rethink my strategy here. So I can already tell that Shiftry is going to be a pain. So I'm bringing in my Gliscor to start, and they bring in their Whimsicott. This is not a horrible matchup because those wing attacks are doing a lot of damage to the Whimsicott, but Charm is just so oppressive, and I try to fake them out with an Earthquake there. They don't fall for it, so I swap in to a Whimsicott of my own, and they counter swap to a Drifblim, which yeah, the charms hurt the Drifblim a lot, but they're going to obviously be able to get to this Icy Wind, making me choose whether or not I should shield. Hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have shielded, but I do feel it was the best move for this because I got to get this Drifblim out of the way because it will just Icy Wind whatever is coming in. They choose to shield up as well, and at this point I said, okay, Whimsicott, you've done your job, you can go home, go back into your ball. So the Whimsicott goes down, and now I'm just going to charge up a bunch of energy, and I'm going to throw the Night Slash right before they get to the next Icy Wind to take it down. So I managed to get a little more energy with the negating than getting anything. And now the Shiftry comes in, but full health Crustle with the shield. Now it's my turn to put on some of this fast move, immediate fast charge move pressure. So they do a really nice job of switching again on the charge. I got to get better at counting on these things. Fortunate for me, the Grass Knot is not enough to take out the Whimsicott, but I really didn't want to throw onto it, so that's kind of a bummer. So I do take out the Whimsicott, and then they still have a shield, but I know that I'll take the shield with this X-Scissor. I'm able to get to it quickly. They have to throw a move onto this Crustle, or else the Crustle will just gobble it back down. So this Crustle is going to go down to the Leaf Blade, and at this point I'm pretty sure that a Night Slash plus the wing attack damage will do enough. So game 2 goes to me. So yeah, looking at the team, I'm now recognizing that Whimsicott is a really strong answer. So I'm probably going to have to, especially if they're using it themselves, that I need to have something that counters the Whimsicott, so I am deciding to lead my Whimsicott. And as you can tell in this, predicted. So yeah, horrible lead, the worst lead I could do. I'm switching to my safe swap of the Gliscor, and in comes their Lanturn, which is a Water Gun Lanturn. Holy buckets, not prepared for this. Nothing on my team can handle a water gun Lanturn that well. That Crustle also, it's just going to do major damage. So yeah, they shield up my Earthquake. I'm going to shield this up because I'm going to try to get to another Earthquake. That's really all I can do at this point. So I'm at least going to take both shields. Fortunately, I do that. Or they're just going to let their Lanturn go. Let's see. So they let their Lanturn go, but unfortunately my Gliscor can't do anything. I'm still in an okay position because the Crustle with these Rock Slides will definitely hurt the Ninetales. I can definitely tank a Weather Ball, probably even 2 Weather Balls, and I'm just kind of waiting to see what's in the back. So it's that Drifblim, okay, this is fine. I obviously don't want the Whimsicott to ever see that Ninetales again, so I will just go ahead and tank all these Icy Winds. Hoping maybe that they'll try to overfarm and I'll get to the Grass Knot, but they are counting really well and they fire off that second Icy Wind just in time before I was able to reach it. And this is where I made a mistake. So I was hoping that they were going to try to Icy Wind me before they went down. So I'm baiting here with an X-Scissor, and as you can see, they don't care. And that's when I realized they're just going to let their Drifblim go down. But now, unfortunately, I am completely out of energy against an almost fully healthy Ninetales, and I have to shield this up. Weather Ball's coming in fast, super spammy move, and yeah, I know that I have to get to 2 Rock Slides. So yeah, I even, as you can see, tried to bait there at the very end again with the X-Scissor, but I don't think that they would even bother shielding. So really good matches. I was super well read by my opponent, and yeah, kind of a bummer for me, but it is my only loss of this tournament. So as you can see, or as you will see, I get better, guys, I promise. I get a little bit better. I'm starting to learn the counts, the play style that I want to play with this team, and poor Cool Name 513 is just going to feel the wrath of my loss in this round. So they're running some interesting picks here. Quagsire. Quagsire is also pretty bad for my team, especially if shields are down. That thing will just really tear through the whole team almost. I like their pick of Electrode. Again, it's something that can counter the Talonflames, but it doesn't really have too much play against my team, so I'm not super concerned. The Hypno Whimsicott, as we know, they make a good core pair. They scare away the fighters. So I probably won't bring my fighter in. I imagine that maybe they're feeling the same about the Hitmonchan. And then again, Gliscor. Gliscor can take on Hypno, can take on Drifblim, definitely can take on Electrode, because even if it's the Electrode is running foul play, it's resisted by the Gliscor, also all of the electric moves obviously, and if it can get to the Earthquake, it can really damage the Quagsire. So again, I think we might be looking at a Crustle Gliscor core, which I've been doing a lot, and then also probably that Whimsicott, because it's going to be stronger against the team, I think, than the Hypno. So we'll see how we decide to play this one out. Yep, so we start with the Gliscor into the Quagsire, and I decided that's just not where I wanted right there. And since they don't have a fire thing, I figured Whimsicott is actually the safest swap that I can have. So I swap into Whimsicott. I'm going to go ahead and take this, even if it's a Shadow Ball and basically knocks me out. It's an Ice Punch. That's not good. That's actually way worse for my whole team composition, but at least I know it, and I got it on the Whimsicott instead of on that Gliscor. So I know it has Ice Punch, and I'm wondering if it has Elemental Punches. So I'm going to bring in the Hypno and see, also just because yeah, I want that Gliscor kind of to have as much energy as possible against the whatever's in the back. So they either bait me or they're running Elemental Punches. I am going to bait them myself. Take them out with a Thunder Punch, and let's see what comes in. So that's a Whimsicott of their own. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and reveal my moves. It's a Shadow Ball, but I'm not going to even pretend to bait with a Thunder Punch here because it doesn't do any damage really to the Whimsicott. And now the wing attacks are going to do a decent amount, so I go in to get a little bit of extra energy, and I actually don't really care that much. Stone Edge will do about 50%, but what I'm more concerned about is that Charm is going to really just be able to wear me down after this. So I'm going to go ahead and block up both of these, even though it's not super necessary. I want my Gliscor to be as healthy as possible to throw moves. I also know my Hypno can probably make it to another Thunder Punch, but it's, yeah, we'll see. So yeah, unfortunately these Night Slashes aren't enough to take it down, but the subsequent wing attacks are, and now, yep, just gonna Night Slash this Whimsicott. And I still have a fairly healthy Hypno in the back, so not too worried. So that was game 1. Game 2, they laid a Drifblim into the Gliscor. Again, this is favorable for the Gliscor, but I don't really like to use my shields up right away, so I don't really know how I will play this. We'll see what they decide to do. So they don't shield up, and I got the boost, so I probably will shield it at this point. Even though this Icy Wind will knock me back down to normal, at least I'm not getting double debuffed. So, so now I'm at my regular stage. I'm going to throw another Night Slash. This will knock them out if they choose not to shield. They do choose to shield, and now I'm going to try to snipe them. Unfortunately, Charm is not that strong, I guess. And they're able to get to an Icy Wind, but I will just tank it. Because, like I said, nothing on the team can really handle a Whimsicott that well. We'll see what, yeah, you can clearly tell they're debating. And they bring in the Electrode, which is fun. But yeah, I'm happy to see it. So I will bring back in the Gliscor, I assume, after this, since it won't do that much damage, and just kind of build up a ton of energy. So, yep. And they switch out to the Hypno. Again, this is fine for me. I'm going to let it charge up a bit and then switch into my own Hypno. So yep, I'm able to get off 2 Night Slashes before they can get to that Ice Punch. I know they're carrying Ice Punch, so I want to get out of there. So I'm going to fire that off, go into my own Hypno, and now we'll see if it's just double Elemental Punches or if they're running Shadow Ball. Indeed, ouch, that does not feel good, but I know that this Shadow Ball will be able to knock them out, and Cool Name will have to use the energy that the Electrode has on my Hypno, or else it will face another move. So this is probably a foul play, but again, I'm willing to let it go because the electric moves don't do very much to the Gliscor. I will shield it anyway, just because, hey, I'm not dumb. If you have a shield, you might as well use it. So they foul play me, but I'm able to get to this Night Slash. And again, I don't know if it'll be able to take it out, but the subsequent wing attacks will. Oh, it is enough, so. Whew. Round 4 is up against someone who I think I play like almost every HQ Cup, Sheanat. And the team that they're playing looks difficult for me. It's that Talonflame, so I know that I want to bring in my bulky mons, which is either like Lanturn, Crustle, Hypno, because I need at least 2 to deal with the Talonflame, but also with a Shiftry on the team and a Snorlax, which is a really, really good safe swap this cup. The Hypno is a little less useful. Unfortunately for me too, Whimsicott is super strong against the team, but with having a Talonflame, you start to make it a little bit of a rock, paper, scissors matchup. So I think what I plan to do is I will put 2 Talonflame counters in the back. So something that's maybe weak to Talonflame to start, and I will use Crustle as a safe swap because Crustle with Fury Cutter gets to its moves so quickly that I think it's a really good safe swap in this meta. So let's see how we decide to play this one out. Yep, so I led Whimsy into a Gliscor. This is fine. It's not ideal, but it's not horrible. And also, I'm seeing that this is a Fury Cutter Gliscor, so it's not as effective against my Whimsicott, but it is getting to these charge moves much quicker. I knew even as quick as it was that was still a Night Slash and it wouldn't do much. They swapped out into their Talonflame. And I maybe played this wrong, looking back, because of that. That's when I realized that a Brave Bird could take out a Crustle. But fortunately for me, now the defense on the Talonflame is already lowered a little bit. Even if they Brave Bird me here, Lanturn can tank at least 2. And I'm just committed to going ahead and farming it completely down. So we're both 2 shields. I have Whimsicott in the back, very strong. In comes a Hypno. Not great. Hypno's confusions really hurt the Lanturn, and also it's just bulky, so I was trying to maybe get a shield with that, but they didn't fall for it, and I don't want to waste a Hydro Pump that's potentially shielded, so I do another Thunderbolt. They shielded up, and now I know I'm at a Grass Knot, so I bring back in that Whimsicott to at least take out this Hypno or maybe get that last shield. I get the shield. They do a really nice job here of swapping themselves. This is, again, probably just a Night Slash, but I can't afford to let it go down. And this is, oh, it gets so close here. So maybe I shouldn't have, I really don't know. Okay, so they do a Thunder Punch. I'm almost at a Grass Knot, but I'm not able to get to it. They're at another Thunder Punch. And now it is a race. I am a couple sparks away, and they hit it at the same time. I would have gone down to the confusion anyway afterwards, but wow, that was a super close game. At the buzzer, well played. Deserved win goes to Xehanort. However, not on my watch. So game 2 looks like pretty much a rematch of game 1, but I'm playing it different this time. And I'm switching into that Lanturn because, like I said, I know the Lanturn can tank a Brave Bird. So, there goes the Brave Bird. And I don't know if it can tank 2 at that point. So, I'm, again, watching the Incinerates. Since it's a 5-turn move, it takes quite a while for the animation to go through. And I charge off my I fire off my charge move before they're able to get to theirs. And in comes that Hypno again. But I am going to go for the Hydro Pump this time. If they do shield, I at least get that shield, and if they don't, it's going to do a decent amount of damage to the Hypno. They do shield it up, and at this range, I know I'm not going to be able to get to another Thunderbolt, which is unfortunate, but this is where that Fury Cutter Crustle comes in. They switch out to Gliscor. I think I am going to shield that up. Yep. So it's a Night Slash. I'll go back over to my Whimsicott, and I'm not going to shield anything on this anymore. I'm just going to farm it completely down. It's going to get low itself, but I'm pretty sure at this range that the Crustle can totally handle the Hypno. So it'll do its job. And since it's a Fury Cutter and not a Wing Attack Gliscor, I'm able to survive, and I'm going to throw off this Leaf Blade. Yeah. Well, you know what? I've been saying it wrong this whole time. It's not a Leaf Blade, obviously. It's a Grass Knot. So what I'm going to do is I'll shield this up, I think, but I can just go ahead and Fury Cutter down this Hypno. So I don't even need to get their last shield. So, 1-1 here. Just lost that last round. Really good call on my part. I decided to lead the Lanturn because I knew that they had the Talonflame in here. And since we had both led things that earlier, I figured that they would want to bring in Talonflame to counter my Whimsicott, so I was putting it in the back. But now that they switched out of their Talonflame, I am going to bring in that Whimsicott because I don't care if it goes down. It has no play against that Talonflame, and it was able to at least chunk the Hypno a little bit. So I'll bring in the Crustle. Even if they Shadow Ball me, again, this is fine. I might just go ahead and Fury Cutter this thing all the way down. They Thunder Punch bait me, which makes me so upset. So, but I am able to Fury Cutter down. And now the Talonflame's just in trouble anyway because it doesn't do well against either of these Mons. And I decided to play a little bait game back, and I bait them with the X-Scissor. They shielded up. I switched to my Lanturn. Just in time, I think, for the Brave Bird. If this is a Flame Charge, it's even better for me. Definitely not going to shield that, and I am at the Thunderbolt. They switch out. Great swap into their Hypno. I was already firing the charge, but this is fine because it'll take it down at least like 1/3, and I'm almost at another. So I'm going to go ahead and tank this, I think. No, okay. So I know it's a superpower. Okay, but now their attack and defense falls, so even if they throw another superpower, I'm fine. I'm charged up to almost 2 Thunderbolts. They shield the first, but I'm able to get to the second before they get to another move. Yes! So this will take out the Snorlax. And now I know that I am at a Rock Slide, so I do an immediate switch back to the Crustle to take out the Talonflame because the shields are down. Whew! Alright, those were some close competitive matches. So yeah, now we're on to round number 5, and instead of Snorlax, we have his little baby brother Munchlax on the team. But we again have that Shiftry Driftbloom combo that does a decent amount of hurt for my team. And also a Blaziken, which my team doesn't want to see, because a Blaziken and the 2 shields can take out a Lanturn. It can definitely handle that Crustle with its counter. It is afraid of the Hypno and Whimsicott, but it's able to answer the Whimsicott with the Blaze Kick. It does decently well against each other with the Hitmonchan. So again, Gliscor, you're gonna be my boy, and I'm definitely gonna have to bring in one of the either Confusion users or the Charm user. I think I will probably choose Charm, because since it's not a fire fast move on the Blaziken, unless they're running Fire Spin, the Whimsicott will do a lot of damage before it's even able to get to a Blaze Kick. And also the Whimsicott will just do really well against the Shiftry, decent against the Driftbloom, and the Hypno. Munchlax will hold its own here. I'm pretty sure that Munchlax is going to be their star player, so we'll see how we decide to do this one out. But I will say that, yeah, with 3 on their team that does surprisingly well against Hypno, I probably will bench it. So yeah, I decide to lead the Whimsicott, and they lead a Driftbloom. Again, this is fine, especially if I choose to shield, but yeah, Driftblooms are just kind of hard to deal with overall because they get to the Icy Wind so quickly, and it's a debuffing move. But I decided that I'm going to go ahead and block the first Icy Wind and just get the Driftbloom as low as possible. The Shadow Ball me here 7 times, so it takes me out, but now at least I know that they're 100% energy dry. They have to be. So I bring in this Crustle, and even though the Fury Cutter is not effective, it's able to take the Driftbloom down since it has such low HP, and now I'm at least loaded a little bit for whatever comes in. So they bring the Hypno, which to me signifies that it's like something that's potentially weak to the Crustle in the back. So maybe the Shiftry or potentially the Munchlax, because Lanturn can hold its own. Unfortunately for them, I just built up a ton of energy, so I'm releasing these X-Scissor after X-Scissor after X-Scissor. They are able to get to a charge move here, but I'm willing to let it go through. It's just a Thunder Punch. And again, X-Scissor, what are they going to do? Are they going to shield it, or are they going to let their Hypno go down? They just let the Hypno go down, and I decide, yeah, no matter what, immediately swap into the Gliscor. So, yep, so the Gliscor, and I'm just building up. I'm going to try to get to an Earthquake because I want to take this last shield from them. So they fire off a Body Slam, even though, yeah, they're not like big moves. Like we said, Gliscor is not very tanky, so it's going to not take these very well. They do shield up the Earthquake, which is unfortunate. So I'm going to go ahead and fire off Night Slashes. They're not going to do that much damage, but chip damage is chip damage at this point. I know that another Body Slam will take me out, so I want to get it low. So the goal here is I know that they would have to bulldoze me to take out the Crustle, because, oh no, definitely not at that point. But oh, lucky for me, and they knew it as well, that they couldn't fire off a Body Slam because I would get extra moves through. So they were just trying to lick me down, but I was able to get to that Rock Slide and take it out with that, but I think I only had like 1 HP left, so it was a really, really tight match. Game 2 looks like a second verse, same as the first. We're starting out with the Whimsicott versus the Driftbloom. I don't know if I decided to play it the same, because I barely won the first game, so it really made me nervous. So yep, I didn't shield the Icy Wind, and I immediately came in with my Crustle, because I know that I'm able to get to my charge move before they can get to theirs. That's how fast Fury Cutter is. So annoying, I imagine, for the opponent. So they block up the Rock Slide, but now they farmed a decent amount of energy, so I'm thinking this might be a Shadow Ball. They just Icy Wind bait me, super annoying, but still, they're gonna have to shield this if they don't want to get taken out. Even though it's been debuffed, a Rock Slide still hurts a flying type. So, yep, so they are now out of shields, and it's a debate in my head whether or not I want to let this Crustle go. Lucky again, just Icy Wind, and again, look at that. I held off from throwing, starting to learn. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get to the Grass Knot with the Whimsicott there, but I have all this energy on my Crustle. And yeah, I'm going to make this Hypno hurt. So I think I'm going to be able to get to 2 X Scissors. Unfortunately not. I will be taken out even if it's an elemental punch. So yep, it's a Thunder Punch. Crustle goes down. But yeah, then this Gliscor is going to be able to take it out with the Night Slash. And I feel like I'm in a great position because again, I still have a shield. I'm pretty sure that the Drifloon's energy dry. Attack just rose sharply. Yeah, so they tried to bring in the Drifloon. This was smart because they're going to at least get my attack back down to normal. And then they swap out to their Munchlax. But because I had so much energy already, that I'm pretty sure that I'm able to take this out. I'm getting up to this Earthquake. It's not going to be quite enough to take it out, but it's going to get so close that I'll be able to, wing attack it down, and then I have enough energy to get to this Night Slash before they are able to get to another Icy Wind. So, whew. It's kind of funny, you get the boost and then immediately a Drifloon says, or do you? Okay, so that was round number 5. Now we're on to round number 6 against GK Rawl J420. Running kind of a spicy team here with a Gyarados, which I haven't seen yet in this cup. And also a Probopass, which is nice to handle those flyers. Fortunately for GK, my flyer is also a ground typing, so it doesn't really take that big of effect from the Probopass, but yeah. Looking at the team composition, again, the way I like to play it, if there's a Talonflame, you need at least 2 that can handle the Talonflame. So the Crustle, I think, will have to come in again. The Lanturn's going to have to come in. Since there's a Shiftry and a Snorlax, my Hypno doesn't want to really play. It's just going to say pass. I'm going to sit this round out. And I think I need Gliscor because I'm not bringing in the Hitmonchan of my own. It's actually, it's just a really frail thing, and I don't want to make it to rock, paper, scissors. So I think I'll just, again, rely on my boy Gliscor to see if he can take out this Probopass, because it looks like the Probo will be decent against my team, assuming that it's a rock throw as well, because my Crustle, again, doesn't want to handle it. So they lead the Probopass, which is exactly where I want to see it. This is fine with me. I'm going to charge up to an Earthquake. They're already throwing. I know that I can tank at least 2. I can take 1 completely comfortably. It's a Thunderbolt, even better for me. So yeah, so they bring in the Hypno, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in this Crustle right now because I know that the Crustle doesn't do great against the Probopass. So I'm going ahead and I'll tank whatever they're going to throw at me here because I know that I'll be able to get to a couple X Scissors. Luckily it was just an Ice Punch, which doesn't do much at all. This X Scissor is super effective, and I'm able to get to another one. So we'll see if he would like to keep Switch Advantage. He doesn't because he wants to bring back in that Probopass. And if you notice too, it's a Spark Probopass, which they're able to get to their charge moves a lot quicker as well, but my Crustle has a little bit more play because if it was a Rock's Probopass, it would not do much damage at all. This is a heavier hitting move, but it still doesn't do much to a Probopass, so it's kind of a bummer for me. However, I'm going to fake him out here. That's an Earthquake, because I know that I built up enough energy for it. He does shield. He's going to throw at me. And I'm kind of debating because I'm wondering if there's a Shiftry in the back, and if it's a Shiftry, it's going to be a problem for my team. So I switch on the charge move here to catch it on the Lanturn, and we'll see what comes in the back. Fortunately for me, it's a Gyarados. Yeah, these Dragon Breaths hurt, but obviously these Sparks are going to do pretty decent effect against a Water Flying type. This Thunderbolt also will crush it, so he blocks it up. And I'm actually okay at this point. I don't want to be baited. If it's an Aqua Tail, it's going to really make me mad if I shield it. It is an Aqua Tail. I don't shield, and they have to throw the other one before I throw the Thunderbolt. So this is fine for me. The Lanturn can go down. Wing Attack will take out the Gyarados, and I'm still almost again at an Earthquake, so yeah, that Probopass is going down. Down, down. This is what Gliscor looks like when he's in the air. Okay, so for round 2, I decide to lead the Crustle against the Hypno. Again, I'm feeling very positive about this by now. Like, I know that Gliscor is my MVP, but I really am liking this Fury Cutter Crustle. So, as you can see, I'm able to get to 2 charge moves before they're able to get to 1, forcing them to shield. And at this stage, I'm almost okay just letting it go down if it's a Shadow Ball, which it is. Because I know that I'll be able to get a decent amount of farm off of this Hypno. So I'm going to come in. They're throwing. It's a risk, so I have to shield it up because, yeah, it is indeed an Ice Punch, and that would do heavy damage to my Gliscor. But now, in return, I've got a ton of energy on my Gliscor. I switch into my Lanturn. It's a Gyarados again. They didn't bring a Pogo Pass this round, and this is exactly where I want to see it because I know I'll get to these charge moves quicker than the Gyarados will, especially because I switched in first. I'm assuming last time, since he baited with the crunches or baited with the Aqua Tails, it did so poorly that he would go straight for the crunch. Fortunately, I was right, but this allows me to just completely farm down the Gyarados, and I'm going to Hydro Pump the Snorlax. I have a Hydro Pump and an Earthquake ready, so I feel really comfortable already. My switch timer isn't up yet, unfortunately, so I'm worried about how much farm that they're able to get. He throws his Body Slam right before I get to my move, and now I'm a little bit nervous, but and I actually forgot what side my moves were on, as you can see. So I threw a Night Slash, and then I was like, oh crap, I hope this is enough. Fortunately, it is, even though Snorlax is a big boy. He's a big boy, he just doesn't take those Night Slashes so well at such a low health. So those were round 6. Right now I'm 5-1 in the tournament, and I'm pretty nervous because, as you can see, the next player that I'm playing is a UK player, Nezabethan, and he and I play each other fairly often in Gym Breakers. We've played each other a couple times in HQ, and he's really good. Higher ranked than I am as well, like very close to hitting elite, and so I was nervous playing this man. So, and yeah, he's got a pretty interesting team because he's got a Tangrowth which can handle the waters and the fires / flyers pretty well. That Talonflame, which is always a nuisance to deal with. A Hypno of his own. Hypno Flygon, also a really interesting good combination. Then Flygon makes me wonder if it's running Stone Edge or Earth Power or even Earthquake. I mean, there's a lot of Swiss Army knife on his team here. They have a Alolan Raichu, which also does a great job of breaking up the Lanturn Talonflame Hypno Core. Unfortunately for him, I don't have that Talonflame. And then also a Granbull, which I know is also going to obviously be running Charm, but has Close Combat and Crunch. So yeah, this is a difficult team for me to play around on. Lanturn is usually what I like to go with the Talonflame because because I know it can tank a Brave Bird. But when there is a Tangrowth that can throw those Power Whips, it's not something that the Lanturn can deal with at all. Also, yeah, I'm kind of looking at the Gliscor again. The Gliscor. This is my team comp. The Gliscor and the Crustle. So I'm pretty sure I'll probably be playing both of those, and then I imagine either the Hypno or the Whimsicott to counter their own Charm user. But yeah, Hypno's a little bit dangerous because of the possibility that the Granbull will throw a Crunch, and also, guys, they're going to be good matches. Let's see how we decide to play them out. As you can see, I'm already doubting myself even after the fact. So I catch a really good lead here with the Crustle lead, and fortunately they even switch out before they saw the fast move, which is nice. And I switch into my Hypno. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to charge up to double, to try to make them think that it's a Shadow Ball. I know this is Crunch, so I have to block it up. And I'm going to throw a Thunder Punch. Just see if they're going to block. He is going to block, but I know I'm going to be able to make it to another Thunder Punch. However, I also can see that these confusions are really chunking, so I go ahead and just confusion down the Granbull. And now, tell me comments whether you think I played this right or not. So I saw that it was a Hypno, but I decided to throw a Thunder Punch because I didn't want to reveal my secondary move. And now obviously in comes the Gliscor, because the Gliscor has no play against the Talonflame, and I need to be able to at least threaten that, even though I think the Crustle has a great matchup against the Hypno. So they've charged up quite a bit. We're about to see if they have Ice Punch. They throw a Shadow Ball at me, which makes me believe they don't. And this is a bummer. So I'm able to get off this Rock Slide. They block it up. And then, as I saw from a previous match, Brave Bird can take out a Crustle. So I block this. It's just a Flame Charge, which I would have definitely been able to survive, but because it was just a Flame Charge, they are able to get to their second Flame Charge, which will take out the Crustle, and now it's pretty hopeless because I can't get to an Earthquake. An Earthquake, even at that range, wouldn't be able to take out the Talonflame, although it would get it fairly low. So very, very well played by my opponent. I'm already in the hole here. So second game, I decided, okay, you have a similar, like, you played it fine, you just didn't play it to perfection. So this time play it to perfection, Lundberger. So I switched in my Hypno to the to the Flygon because I was hoping that they would think that I had Ice Punch. Because normally if you would throw in a Hypno that just had Shadow Ball and Thunder Punch into a Flygon, the Flygon is going to beat you. But maybe it worked, I'm not sure. They threw a move and then they dipped. They brought in this Grand Ball, but I'm able to get off 2 Thunder Punches. They block them both. And then I have to bring in this Crustle at this point. So I'm going to block this up because I'm pretty sure it's going to be a close combat. But it's just a crunch, so now I'm annoyed. But I know that I'll get to a Rock Slide, and this will be enough to take out the Grand Ball. And now it's playing time. So they're out of shields. We'll see if it's a Flygon. We'll see if it's going to be the Talonflame coming in. They're obviously waiting out the clock, so I switch into this Gliscor. Flygon can't do much to Gliscor, especially if it's running Stone Edge. So I'm going to go ahead and throw off these Night Slashes as soon as possible. As you can see, it does a ton of damage to the Flygon. The Flygon's best bet would be to throw Dragon Claws, but it does throw the Stone Edge. As you can see, it does a little over 50%, but for me, fine. Yeah, this Gliscor is just a little flying sponge right now. Oh, and as you can see, this also maybe saved me this game because I got a boost, which allows me to not quite knock out this Hypno. It just gets it so low that even though this Confusion takes out my Gliscor, I'm able to take down the Hypno with just a Fury Cutter. And then I'm able to take out the Flygon with an X-Scissor. So it maybe could have gone a little bit differently if I didn't get the boost, but I don't think it would have been so bad because the Hypno would have maybe been able to fire off one Elemental Punch, or even if they threw off a Shadow Ball, I had a shield because I knew the Flygon was pretty energy dry, having just thrown that Stone Edge, and I would have shielded the Hypno move, farmed it down, and then threw onto the Flygon. So I think the end result would have been the same. Still, I know as an opponent, you hate to lose because of a boost. So, yeah, it was something we were discussing afterwards if it would have changed the matchup, and we're not really sure. But game 3, a lot is on the line for us. This is the very last round. We're 1-1. We both know we're very comparable players. So I led the Hypno into a Tangrowth. Again, they don't know what my second move on my Hypno is. So I tank the first move of the Tangrowth, go in with the Gliscor to try to get an energy advantage. They bring in that Grand Bull, which is a really, really good counter safe swap. And obviously they know I have to go for an Earthquake here because the Night Slashes do nothing. But since they blocked, I'm going to go ahead and throw this Night Slash because a little damage is better than absolutely no damage. I know that it's going to completely charm me down. So the Hypno will come back in. I'm going to shield up this Crunch, and again, I'm going to just completely farm down the Grand Bull at this point with the Confusions. So I know it won't be able to get to another, and we'll see what they bring back in. So he's waiting out the clock, very smart, and I see in the corner it's a Psychic. I know it's his Hypno, so I'm throwing the Shadow Ball in hopes that he thinks that I have Ice Punch. I don't know if he really thought that or if he just thought I was baiting, but luckily that Shadow Ball landed. now I'm just grinning because I've switched in this Crustle. I know I'm going to be able to get to the move before them. So they're going to go ahead and fire here. I'm going to go ahead and shield this up. I'm going to farm them down to throw onto the Tangrowth, which is I know is energy dry. They swap it in to try to get a little bit of extra energy. Unfortunate for them, it was right when I was at that X-Scissor. So I take out the Tangrowth, and then, yeah, I'm able to still make it to yet another X-Scissor, but I don't even bother throwing because I'm able to Fury Cutter down. So that was the final round of the HQ Cup. Yeah, as you can see, after the Cup was done, I made it to Global Rank 84, which is decent. Regained my #1 spot in Belgium. And also, I'm fairly high up on the Ace tier list, so hopefully with another couple good wins or maybe another good weighted that I can make Elite this season, which I'm really excited about. But this is, yeah, my win rate. This is all the information. And yeah, this was the team that I used. Again, as you can see, I didn't use Hitmonchan once. I feel like with how many Hypnos and Whimsicotts and other Charmers floating around, it's not really the most safe role to use. But if you are good at RPS matches, that is maybe something for you. Like I said, I replaced it with Litleo XL, and I think that that is a better Mon for the Cup. But to each their own. This was just my playstyle. This is how I did it. And this was the 6-1 win that I got for the month with Gliscor and Crustle. So thanks guys for watching. If you like the video, go ahead and give it a like, maybe comment. And if you're not already subscribed, do it. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.